Well, we just got down to Nevada. I was able to pick up a late season rifle mule deer tag I guess it was about 2 weeks ago now. So I had a very short window to try to eScout this. I'm excited. I'm very excited to have a Nevada mule deer tag in my pocket and to be able to do it with a rifle season in the late season. But I've never been here. I've never had a tag myself in Nevada. So Jason's behind the camera, Jason and I drove down this morning, left early. It was like 22 degrees in Bozeman. We get here and it's like 65 degrees right now. It's gorgeous, like a little bit of overcast, just absolutely gorgeous. But we are gonna hunt this for the next 5 days and hopefully find a big mule deer buck. So we're gonna get camp set up and maybe do a little bit of glassing tonight. Probably drive up in, I've got some points that, again, from eScouting that are kind of within a few miles of where we're at right now. And then we might just kind of glass tonight, see if we can find something. Hopefully we can see some deer if we can hurry up and get it there. It's about 2 hours till dark, so. So we just drove up here, I don't know, probably 2.5 miles from camp. We got up in this big basin, and this is kind of one of the places that we wanted to hunt. And I wanted to see how bad this road was to get in here, see how long it'll take. I mean, we only have about 25 minutes of light left, but I wanted to see kind of what it looked like. You know, the sun's setting behind the mountains, so tomorrow morning we'll have the sun at our back and just be able to glass this, I mean, just this huge area. But it is absolutely gorgeous up here. I mean, you know, some of the best mule deer habitat that I can, you know, look at and just be like, wow, you know, like there could just be deer anywhere in here. There's a deer, there's 2 deer. Looks like a doe fallen. That was tough. I almost scanned right past him. There's some more deer. There's 2 more deer. Alright, so that makes 7. 8. That's a buck. That's definitely a buck. $2. One's pretty nice. So the 2 point is definitely a mature deer, but he's just a big forky. I mean, he's got to be the biggest 2 point I've ever seen. Just really big. Just found 5. Sorry, I was gonna say 4, but then I just saw another one. 4 more deer right over here. It's kind of one of those things, you know, when you get to a new area, you always tell yourself, man, I need to see a deer in this landscape. Because once you see a deer in the landscape, you're like, okay, that's what I'm looking for when you start scanning. And as soon as like we picked up that first deer, like it was like, oh, there's a deer, there's a deer. Oh, there's some more deer. Oh, there's some bucks. Then like literally went from here, we went from like right here, and I just turned around 180 degrees and I was like, oh, there's 5 more deer right there. Whew. That gets me excited. Tomorrow's gonna be a good day, I feel like. It's gonna be a good day. Feels good when you can get to a spot that you know, just kind of, let's check this place out. Well, it's bright and early. First morning of the hunt. Got back in here to where we were at yesterday afternoon that we did the glassing, but we got in here well before daylight.
And from where we're parked right here, we're gonna hike up a little ways to get kind of up on a little bench or knob, and that way we can really see all the way around us instead of kind of being low in the valley floor. So we're gonna get to hiking, and seeing all those deer yesterday afternoon in that little short time frame has me excited for what we could see the next couple of days. So we're gonna get moving.
So we just got up here to our glassing spot. Super high, as you can see. I mean, we could see everything. And I just spotted 2 deer right down here below us, about 400 yards, straight down. We bumped a deer walking up right when we got kind of to the face of these rocks. A deer went across the saddle right in front of us. I couldn't see what it was. It was still too dark, and it happened so fast. But I'll see what these deer are real quick. I'm pretty sure it's just a doe and a fawn, but now we just gotta find some bucks. So I just told Jason, I was like, we need to keep an eye on this doe group down here. And I looked back, and now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with 2 bucks now. And that one buck in the back's looking kind of ruddy. Let's see what that other buck is. That other buck's a 4-point. Pretty young 4-point. But I like seeing that rut in action.
Right.
One of them's a pretty decent 4-point. Right in there. I think they've... Oh no. I had to scope right on them. Didn't even see them. 2 doe, 3... No, that's a buck. 2 does and a small buck. I think we've seen 32 deer so far. We've seen one. There's 2 bucks in there, that group, right?
Mm-hmm.
2, 3. There was 5 bucks down here. That's 8. That was 4 does. Right, so it's 8 bucks so far. And the biggest one being, I don't know, high 140s, maybe 150-ish type 4-point. But I just gotta spend a lot of time behind glass and just keep combing the hills, and eventually, you know, you'd think that you're gonna turn up a really good buck. There's some deer walking up that hill right there. You know, what's crazy to think is when I talk to biologists, he's like, man, we're just at like record number lows for the deer population in this specific unit. And then you come here and you see 40 deer the first morning. It's like, what could this place be like if we're back to quote, you know, the good deer populations, if this is the record lows. But I'm excited. I mean, it gives you a lot of confidence when you come into a spot. You know, last night we saw 16 in here, you know, and we only glassed for 30, 45 minutes, something like that. And then this morning to see so many deer, you know, I'm sure some of those were the same deer from last night, but it's a really good start to the hunt, and I'm looking forward to see what else we can do. I think that we're going to kind of hang out up here. We might hike back to the truck. It's not too far. It's 3/4 of a mile or so, just down off this rock face. Make some lunch here in a little bit, and then get back up here and settle in for the afternoon haul. I'd really like to give this entire basin at least a full day of glassing. So when we were up there glassing, I kept seeing this really white thing down here. I just kept scanning over. I was like, that's not a deer. Once we stopped seeing deer, I took a little bit more time to look at it. It ended up being this deadhead. I could see it from up there. See some vertebrae and stuff laying around, so I'm guessing a winter kill down here in these aspens in kind of the lower country, but I'd say it's at least 2 or 3 years old, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
But it's pretty similar to the bucks that we've been seeing.
Not a deer.
Well, it's about 1:45 now. We've came down, found that deadhead, ate some lunch. We're going to go ahead and head back up the hill, get back into our glassing spot by, 2:15 or something, 2:30. Doesn't get dark until 6, so that should give us a solid 3.5 hours here. But we're going to head up the hill, get ready for this evening, hopefully.
It is now 3:20, and I just picked up 5 deer over here. Jace has 8.
Probably half of that group we saw this morning.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the same group, but saw 8 over here, and I think there was 4 bucks in there, and there might have been 10, because there was at least 4 bucks, and then quite a few does, but nothing bigger than a big 2-point again, and a couple, just little like forkies and stuff. But it's crazy. I mean, I was totally expecting it to, like, the deer movement not to even be existent until 4 o'clock. And it was weird. It was like we didn't see a single deer for almost 2 hours when we finally decided to go get some lunch. Went and got lunch. Came back up here an hour and a half later, and it's been finding deer pretty regularly. So maybe a big boy will show up. Maybe, just maybe.
So the guys on the side-by-side drove right past my truck, went back there. I've got my pack up here, the blaze orange panel on it, kind of trying to show them where we're at. Apparently that doesn't really matter. They just drove right past us and parked basically right kind of underneath us, where we were looking at, 10 deer, couple bucks, and then they had another vehicle drive up the other road out there,
which, you know, I'm good with that. Like, that's
So far away, but
such is life. We'll just keep doing our thing.
turn up the big buck. Well, that's a wrap for day number 1 here on Pride Rock. I'm going to call it Pride Rock. I think that we ended up counting, I think a conservative number would be 65 deer today and like 18 bucks. And maybe a couple of those were the same deer that we saw. I mean, obviously we know that some of those were the same deer that we saw. But I feel like that was a really successful day, number 1. We at least know that there's a lot of deer in here, a lot of doe groups. We just need that like next caliber of buck to show himself. And we might have seen him just for that split second up there, way up high. I think that was a pretty good deer. But it could have just been excitement of seeing a buck again. But we're going to gather up our stuff and ease back down to the truck. Go back to camp and make up some food and see what we want to do for the morning. But I've got a pretty good idea where we're going to be. And I don't think it's going to be too far from where I'm standing right now. Alright, let's get our stuff together and get out of here.